Hey there, Tim Stoddart here with copyblogger.com. Thank you for watching this week's video, and this week I am going to talk about newsletters. I'm going to take a little bit of a contrarian approach this week and argue that for the vast majority of you, you shouldn't start a newsletter. So newsletters have been very popular as of the last couple years. It seems like the go-to. If you are thinking about starting an online business, you want to start an online brand, the first thing most people do is they say, I know, I'll start a weekly newsletter. And this is great. If you want to do a newsletter, I highly encourage you to do so. I love newsletters. Copyblogger obviously is a weekly newsletter. My personal site, timstodds.com, is a weekly newsletter. They're great businesses and they're a whole lot of fun. I really enjoy writing my newsletters. But most of the time, a newsletter isn't actually the right fit for your business. And let me tell you why. The vast majority of people that start online businesses are creating some kind of service business. So maybe you're a freelancer. Obviously, there's a large majority of people that follow Copyblogger that are freelance writers. I have an SEO agency, so I have a service business. Maybe you're even something a little bit different, like a photographer or even an accountant, somebody that gets hired to perform a service. In that case, you probably don't want to create a newsletter. What you want to do is use email as a marketing channel, as a sales channel. Somebody that does this really well is Neil Patel. If you go to neilpatel.com and you sign up to his email list, he never sends a newsletter. He never sends news. He just uses his email list to promote his own content, to promote his own videos, his own blog posts. He even gives away free webinars about some new tactic that he's learning or some new service that he's performing. He doesn't use email as a way to entertain or a way to create a publication. Email is simply a channel for him to promote his own content. So the emails usually look like this. It's an engaging subject line. It's maybe 1 or 2 sentences of an introduction. It's 3 or 4 bullet points that create some kind of curiosity as to what is going to be on the other side of the link. And then there's the link itself. So a lot of times these emails go to sales pages, or a lot of times they go to contact pages to book an appointment so that he can then take a lead and close that lead to a client. Now, to show a little bit of proof of concept, this is exactly what I do with Stodzy. Stodzy is my SEO agency, and I don't send out a newsletter, but I use email all the time. I just don't use email as a form of entertainment or as a form of educating my audience. Email is a sales channel. It's a way for me to say directly to my audience, hey, here's this new thing I'm offering. And in these cases, the emails are very short, they're very to the point, and they always link out to the actual conversion page, the actual mechanism of conversion. So sometimes that can be a lead form, sometimes that can be the book an appointment for a phone call, sometimes that can be applying for a webinar that I'm gonna do, and then I use that webinar as a mechanism to try to book appointments. So there's a very, very big difference between creating a newsletter and email marketing. And in my opinion, the vast majority of people that are trying to create online businesses need to use email as a marketing channel as opposed to a newsletter. So I'm going to look at some more of the specifics here. When you create a newsletter, the newsletter itself is the product. You have to monetize that newsletter through ads. There's almost no other way to make a profitable newsletter unless, of course, you have a paid newsletter, in which case you have a free newsletter that usually just promotes the paid newsletter. But either way, the content of the newsletter is actually the product. And for most of you who have service businesses, the newsletter is actually distracting people from the product, which is your service. So all the time you're spending creating a newsletter, coming up with all these different curations, creating long form content that you think is going to be valuable to people, all that time is actually wasted. And even worse than that, you're actually steering people away from what it is that you want them to really be paying attention to. And what you really want them to be paying attention to is your services. You want them to call you. You want them to request an audit, to request a proposal, and ultimately to sign a contract. So remember, a newsletter is a media business, is a publication. The newsletter itself is the product. And in most cases, You are the product. You are trying to sell your service, and you don't want to do that through a newsletter because that's only going to distract people from where it is that you want them to go. And what you want them to do is hire you. And the best way to get people to hire you is to send them sales emails. And learning how to write great copy through sales emails that go to lead forms or that go to conversion pages really is how you're going to grow your business. Thanks for watching this week's video. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below. I answer every comment. Like and subscribe. Hit me up in the channel, and I will talk to you next week.